I mean, do you think that, philosophically, it comes down to a little bit of the problem, the hard problem, I guess, of consciousness,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
It's like they're trying to find a physical location for it, and they're not giving up that story because then it would like undermine the entire framework of materialism.
Right, right. This is the hard problem, right? So there's a philosopher named Schumacher, E.I. Schumacher, and he wrote a book called A Guide for the Perplexed.
Mm,
The name of it, A Guide for the Perplexed. He said, here's one of the things he said, look, with materialistic science, you can understand the brain with materialistic science, but you can't understand life. You can't understand consciousness, and you can't understand self-awareness.
yeah,
You can't understand that with materialistic science.
right.
You just can't. And so if you study the brain to try and understand mental illness, you're in trouble
Yeah,
because mental illness doesn't have to do with the brain.
yeah,
It has to do with the mind or
right.
with the emotions or with the and so well, this is a big problem. Now the scientists would say, oh well, you can't study the mind, because you can't see it
Mm,
or see it on a or see it in a microscope or measure it on a weight or see it on a brain scan.
mhm.
No, but we could study it using what's called phenomenology, which is the study of experience.
Hmm.
Phenomenology is the study of human experience.
Yeah,
And we could study the mind using phenomenology. So we could put people through different experiences using their mind,
right.
which really is what psychotherapy is.
Yeah,
Psycho- what I'm doing as a therapist is helping people have experiences in the room here with me,
yes,
having experiences using their mind, their emotions, feeling their emotions, using their minds, thinking about what they want, their intentions,
yes.
understanding their behavior, actually behaving. Yeah, so, yeah, we could study the mind, but
Yes.
the National Institute of Mental Health doesn't do it.
Right. But you see that book just came out from the director of the National Institute of Mental Health, Tom Insel, that talked about healing. And
Right.
or the book is called Healing, and it talks about that they were looking in the wrong spot. He doesn't
They're,
think it's genetics.
they're looking
And
in
they
the
put
wrong
millions
place.
of dollars into this.
Billions, billions.
Yeah, billions. Yeah.
But he still thinks they're going to look for it. He
Yeah.
still thinks, even though he said it's not,
Right. He
it
hasn't
doesn't
fully
help people.
given it up.
Hasn't fully given up. It's not helping people, but we're not giving up. We're still look. I just did a study of the NIMH with a bunch of other people, and they spend $2.3 billion a year, and 75% of it is spent on studying the brain and genetics. 5% on psychotherapy.
It's just
Yeah,
so
five
strange to
percent.
me when even the field of genetics generally, like if you look at what they think is actually linking to genetics, it's such a small percentage.
Oh yeah,
So for them to just go in that area, it just feels like it's so random. It's almost like it's an area to spend money and do research so that people can have jobs, but they're never going to find any answers, that are going to help people, you know?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And also, whenever they find some association between genes and some diagnosis, there are always hundreds of genes involved in that,
Right.
right? Hundreds of genes. So how are you going to pick out one? What are you going to do with that, right? What are you going to do with that information? I don't know. We don't have answers, but they're still looking for it. And yeah, it, it's it's a big problem,
It's a
Jen.
big problem and it's very perplexing.